Hey guys, I'm Rich from NeoWin, and today we're unboxing the Lenovo ThinkBook 14 Gen 2 with AMD processors. So it says AMD Ryzen 4000 up to a Ryzen 7 4800U. So a little something about the processors just to kick things off here. This one has a Ryzen 5 4500U. So this particular processor it's a hexa-core processor, 6 cores. It does not have AMD's version of what Intel would call hyper-threading, which is simultaneous multi-threading. And so it's 6 cores, 6 threads. If you got a Ryzen 5 4600U, that's 6 cores, 12 threads. Ryzen 7 4700U is 8 cores, 8 threads. And then the 4800U, which is the top end model of this, 8 cores, 16 threads. So that's kind of the difference between the two different SKUs of each one, like the 4500, 4600, and then 4700, 4800. There's also the Ryzen Pro ones, which don't appear to be available for this PC, even though it is a business PC. Those all have SMT. So just that's a little something about these particular processors. So the ThinkBook lineup, I should start with that. Think is a business brand, right? From Lenovo, it's been around forever. We know ThinkPads, but this is ThinkBook. I think of it as the modern take on a ThinkBook. Lenovo says this is aimed at small to medium-sized businesses, SMBs, and that's why they made these. Now, it's very different from a ThinkPad. Like, ThinkPad, there's a lot of legacy stuff, right? Notice, for the most part, and that, by the way, has changed a little bit, but they're all black. Right? They all have a very distinct look. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that just standard black look. A lot of people hate that there's still a track point in the keyboard, which is a relic from the age of when Windows touchpads were terrible, right? Keyboards are deeper than, most modern keyboards. Sometimes like you want a great keyboard, which ThinkPads are known for, but you want a shallower key throw. You get all of that from ThinkBook, right? It's they're made of aluminum. They don't have a track point. They don't have physical buttons above the touchpad. It's a modern take on a business PC. I think of it as the anti-ThinkPad, because the thing is that, like, ThinkPad has so many legacy components, but they have die-hard fans. Where if you tell them, like, hey, maybe we should get rid of the track point, people go nuts on you. And like, it wouldn't surprise me if they show up like someone hears me say that, like, you're crazy, what are you talking about? Everybody loves the track point. Like, if you're gonna leave that comment right now, you're one of the people I'm talking about. I'm sorry, but it's true. So you got these diehard ThinkPad fans, and it leaves Lenovo in a place where they can't change ThinkPads too much. Even like when I reviewed the ThinkPad X1 Fold, it was a ThinkPad, but it had a foldable screen, and it has a little Bluetooth keyboard that comes inside of it, and that Bluetooth keyboard is the only ThinkPad keyboard I've ever seen that does not have a track point. And someone commented about it, like, "Oh, it's not a ThinkPad. It doesn't have a track point." By the way, there's also a charger in here. The regular 65 watt. Oh, wait, let me check if it's USB Type-C, because sometimes that's an issue with ThinkBooks. And it is, which is good news. 65 watt USB-C. When they first introduced ThinkBook, which was only a couple years ago, it's a pretty new brand still. They started with the 13S and the 14S. And let me tell you, it did not have USB-C charging. It had a USB-C port. It did not have. You could not charge through it. It did not support DisplayPort or anything like that. So, even this has 2 USB-C ports. Obviously, this is an AMD PC. There's no Thunderbolt. Not that there couldn't be Thunderbolt, but I've never seen a Windows PC maker put Thunderbolt in a USB-C port on anything but an Intel PC. It does, but both of the USB Type-C ports, which are on this side, do support data transfer, power delivery, DisplayPort 1.4. So it's the good stuff. The HDMI port is weirdly 1.4B, which is kind of dumb. And if I'm looking at the specs, USB 3.2 Gen 1 for the Type A ports. It's Gen 2 for the Type C port. So you get 5 gigabits per second on USB Type A, 10 gigabits per second on USB Type C. You get up to a 60 watt battery in this thing. The thing about ThinkBooks that I love like you could kind of tell, like it's got the build quality. This is made of aluminum. It's got that two-tone design, which I really like. I really like that on ThinkBooks. It makes it stand out from the crowd a little bit. Like the color is called mineral gray. And I hate anything with gray in the name because it's just another gunmetal gray-ish laptop. Like, do we need that? So like that two-tone look gives it a little bit of flash, without actual flash. Like there's no chrome logo on here. It's a very clean ThinkBook logo and of course the Lenovo logo over here. All right, if we take a look at the ports on the side, we have an SD card reader, USB 3.2 Gen 1. By the way, it's the same as USB 3.1 Gen 1 and 3.0, which is 5 gigabits per second. Ethernet over here, so you can get wired internet, of course. And then, of course, we have our dual USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C ports, which is the same as USB 3.1 Gen 2, right? HDMI 1.4b, another USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A port, and then a headphone jack over here. All right, so let's open this guy up, and there you have it. That's standard, ThinkBook keyboard that we've seen in other models now, and we're not going to be met with any surprises here. We do have a 180-degree hinge. We have a fingerprint sensor in the power button over here, and so that power button, when you press it to boot up the PC, it's going to log you right in. It scans your fingerprint, so you actually don't have to scan your fingerprint again after it boots up. You're just going to have to press it once, and it's just going to log you right in. And I'm a big fan of that method. It's more natural, and that's the whole point of biometric authentication. It's just like an IR camera. It just sees you and logs you in. With this, it's using a button that you're pressing to boot up your PC, and it's just recognizing you, and it's logging you right in. Okay, so that's one thing I love on ThinkBooks, because on ThinkPads the fingerprint reader is actually over here for some reason. I don't know why they haven't brought this feature over. One thing I'll point out just about the software here, they do include McAfee, which you can see down here. Not a touchscreen. I was just touching it just to check. They do include McAfee for some reason. So like it's almost like they don't treat this like a business PC so much, because most business PCs don't have that kind of ridiculous bloatware. Like obviously that's the first thing you should do when you set this up, is just uninstall McAfee, because it's such a garbage product. So yeah, you can get rid of that. But other than that, it's all pretty straightforward stuff here. The signature PC type of stuff. And that's really about it. It's just a great laptop, and the ThinkBook line, it's almost like a no-frills type of thing. It's got a 14-inch 1080p display. As you probably saw, it's a matte display. It's going to have a great keyboard, a little shallower probably than a ThinkPad keyboard, but it's going to have that accuracy and comfort that you're used to from Lenovo business PCs. Like I said, it's more of a workhorse than anything else. I'm going to tell you right now, it weighs in at just over 3 pounds. I had to look at the spec sheet, which is right behind the camera. Like 3.08 pounds. Sorry, I should say 3.09 pounds, which is still pretty light for a 14-inch laptop. I wasn't expecting it to be. I was expecting more like 3.5 pounds, but whatever. But yeah, ThinkBook, right? If you've ever seen my ThinkBook reviews, you know that I love the product. I enjoy them. So I'm looking forward to reviewing this. So stay tuned, guys. I'll have a review in a few weeks. I'm Rich of NeoWin. Have a great night.